In this video, I'll demonstrate how to configure importing layout information into a MyAssays Desktop analysis as part of an automated workflow. For an overview of this feature, please see the associated video. As a recap, we'll be importing sample details, such as type, position, and replicate information defined in a separate file into MyAssays Desktop. Your layout can be defined in a variety of different formats, like a text file, CSV, or Excel spreadsheet. This layout file might be created by a LIMS system saved to a specified folder. For this workflow, we'll be using three tools. The LayoutImport tool is a custom process that imports data from your own file format and prepares a MyAssays Desktop protocol tweaks file. Tweak files allow you to specify custom data analysis parameters, in this case, the sample layout. For more information on tweak files, please see the below video. You can think of the LayoutImport tool as a bridge between how your layout data is arranged in your file in a consistent format as used by MyAssays Desktop to modify a protocol configuration. If your layout files match the arrangement used in this example, then you can use this LayoutImport version. If your files are in a different format, please reach out to us for assistance in obtaining your bespoke LayoutImport tool. The next tool we'll use is the ProtocolModifier tool. This tool creates a copy of the existing protocol and applies the settings in the specified protocol tweaks file, in our case, the imported layout. The protocol copy is saved and executed. If your LIMS supports it, you could configure your LIMS to launch these two tools for seamless and automatic layout import. Alternatively, the folder pull tool can be used to automate this process. Folder pull is a tool included with MyAssays Desktop and can be used to monitor folders for the addition of new files and perform specified actions when a new file is detected. For example, we'll use folder pull to launch the LayoutImport tool and create a new or updated protocol tweaks file when a new file is detected, and to launch the ProtocolModifier when a new measurements file is detected, launching MyAssays Desktop analysis and applying the protocol tweaks file. First, let's download our tools. I'll navigate to the download link appearing on screen now and select to save the zip file to a location on my PC. For now, I'll just add it to my desktop. Next, I'll unzip the contents to a folder on my C drive called PM. In here we can see those files have been successfully extracted. Next, let's create our custom MyAssays Desktop protocol for analysis. Opening the MyAssays Desktop Explorer, I'll select New Protocol to open the New Protocol wizard. I'll browse for and select my measurement data file. And press Next. On the next step of the wizard, we can see the data was successfully imported. Next, we'll specify the samples included in our plate layout. For my assay, this will be standard, unknown, blank, and control samples. So I'll make those selections and press Next. Here we can specify the default plate layout for our assay. I'll select the layout with 6 standards, 1 blank, 1 control, and the rest of the plate unknowns, all in horizontal duplicate. Remember that this will just be the default layout for the assay. Our new layouts will be configured by using our CSV layout files. Next, we can see our imported data with a plate layout overlay. And on the next step, we can specify a name for our protocol file and optionally add a description. I'll add the name MyProtocol and press Next. On the final step of the protocol wizard, we can see the configuration summary, and pressing Finish launches the protocol. Once the protocol opens, we can see that our results have been calculated, and the report displays a sample table containing the sample ID, position, and raw imported measurement values. Now, the technique I'll demonstrate in this video can be used for any type of analysis, but for simplicity's sake, I'll just add a %CV calculation to our sample table and add a sample layout report element to the top of the report so we can clearly see the sample layout used. To configure these changes, I'll open the Properties control and first navigate to the Transforms tab. The Transforms tab will allow us to add our data analysis stepwise. I'll select Add, select the percentage coefficient of variation transform, and select Create. Now our %CV calculation has been added to our sample table. If needed, we can update the way the results will appear in the sample table by using the Matrices tab. But I'll go ahead and move on to the Report tab to add our sample layout. The Report tab allows us to update the way the report appears and add further report elements to the report. On the left-hand side of the screen, we can see the report tree displaying our currently added report elements. Right now, that's just a sample table. I'll select Add Element and add the layout element. Using the arrows to the right of the report tree, I can change the order in which my report elements appear. So I'll move the layout to appear at the top of the report. Let's recalculate to see our changes. Now at the top of the report, we can see our sample layout, followed by our sample table, including the %CV calculation we just added. Now that our example protocol has been created, I'll save the changes and close out of our protocol. Now let's talk about how to configure our layout import and analysis automation. Back in our PM folder, you can see that I've saved my protocol to this location. I have 2 layout CSV files and our measurement data file here for this demonstration. Let's take a look at the layout files. Opening layout file 1, we can see a different sample arrangement to our default layout for the protocol we've just created. Our blank sample appears first, followed by our standards in columns 2 and 3, and then our unknown samples in vertical duplicate, and finally the controls appearing at the end of my plate. Our first step is to create or edit the protocol tweaks file using this layout1.csv file, and this will be accomplished using the Layout Import tool. To test this, I'll open the command prompt and enter the command line argument cpm LayoutImport.exe and then in quotations cpm layoutfile1.csv cpm layout.protocoltweaks.xml. This will use the Layout Import tool to import the layout information contained in layoutfile1.csv and update the layout.protocoltweaks.xml file, all located in the CPM folder. Once we press enter, we receive confirmation that the layout was imported from the expected file and the tweaks file was updated. Next, let's test launching the protocol using the ProtocolModifier tool. This will apply the tweaks file, create a new protocol, execute the protocol, and then import the raw data and calculate. So I'll use the following command line argument. And note that this 1-96wells.txt file is our measurement data file, and this is again located all in the PM folder. Pressing enter, MyAssays Desktop opens, imports measurements, applies the tweak file, and calculates results. We can see at the top of the report the location where the measurements were imported from. And reviewing the layout, we can see it matches that new layout from the layout file 1.csv. Now you'll notice the name of this protocol is My Protocol with the date and time. The ProtocolModifier tool has created a copy of our original My Protocol protocol file with the updated name and stored this under the tweaked folder in our PM folder, which we can see here. The command window shows these steps performed. If your LIMS supports it, you could configure your LIMS to execute the command line operations to automatically import the layout and launch the protocol. Alternatively, the folder pull tool can be configured to automatically perform these operations as soon as new layout and measurement data files are detected in pulled folders. So let's configure folder pull to do just this. Let's add 2 new folders within the PM folder to house our layouts and measurements. So if a new layout file is dropped into the PM layout folder, then the Layout Import tool will be launched to prepare the new modified protocol tweaks file. The next step will be performed when a new measurement file is detected in the measurements folder. The ProtocolModifier.exe tool will be launched to open the specified folder, apply the tweaks file, import the data, and calculate results. To add these 2 operations, I'll open the Folder Poll Manager and select to add a poll. On the General tab, I'll add the name Layout Import and browse for and select the folder CPM Layout. On the Operations tab, I'll select to launch an application and add the file path to the LayoutImport.exe, which is located in the PM folder on our C drive. I'll add the arguments as source file path cpmlayout.protocoltweaks.xml. The source file path macro represents the full path of the processed file. I'll press OK to save my changes, and again select Add to begin adding our second operation, naming this one ProtocolModifier, and selecting to monitor the CPM Measurements folder. On the Operations tab, I'll again select to launch an application, this time selecting the ProtocolModifier.exe in CPM-Net48. I'll add the arguments CPM-MyProtocol.AssayProtocol, CPM-Layout.ProtocolTweaks.xml, import raw source file path calc. This will modify the myprotocol.assayProtocol file with the protocoltweaks.xml file created from the first step, import the raw data from the measurements folder, and calculate our results. I'll press OK and Apply to apply this configuration. Now that our polls are configured, let's test out the automated workflow. So in this example, let's say my LIMS system automatically creates and saves a new layout.csv file for my assay run. Let's take a look at this layout file 2.csv. Again, this is a layout different from our first two iterations, starting with our unknown samples, followed by controls in vertical duplicate. Columns 10 and 11 have our standards in horizontal duplicate, and column 12 has our blank samples in vertical duplicate. So, to simulate the addition of a new layout CSV file by our LIMS system, I'll drag and drop this layout file into our layout folder. And we can see the protocol tweaks file has been updated by reviewing the date modified field. Next, I'll simulate the addition of a measurement data file to the measurements folder. This could be the location your reader outputs the measurement data file to by dragging and dropping our measurement data file. MyAssays Desktop opens, applies the tweak file, imports our measurements, and calculates results. And we can see reviewing our report that the layout was applied and updated as expected. If you have any questions about how to configure sample layout import into MyAssays Desktop or how to automate this process, please email us at support@myassays.com.